We have made it to the fairgrounds. A whole 24 minutes early. Early bird gets the worm. Just a little cutie. How's it going today, guys? My name is Cameron and you're watching KillaCam. Today we're going to be talking about my dream reptile, the Uromastyx. This is my little yellow Nigerian Uromastyx. She's still a little squirmy now because she just came to me the other day, but with time and with handling, she will calm down a lot more. Let's get right into it. What drew me to the Uromastyx lizard is that they're in the same family as the bearded dragons, which is the Agamid family. Sometimes Uromastyx are also called spiny-tailed lizards for obvious reasons. Their tails are super spiky, and they use that when they burrow down at nighttime as kind of a shield to their burrow. So if anything were to grab them, they'd get a nice mouthful of spikiness. Uromastyx tails have anywhere from 10 to 30 spiky scales going down, helping them defend from any predators. Let's see, mine has 1, 2, 10, 17, 18, 20-ish. Uromastyx lizards are found throughout a wide range of the world, anywhere from northern Africa, throughout the Middle East, and even into South Central Asia. That's a span of almost 5,000 miles, with elevation changes up to 3,000 feet in difference. So far, there's 18 different species of recognized Uromastyx throughout the world, mine being Uromastyx jeri. Uromastyx jeri are usually found anywhere between Algeria to Mali, and of course Niger, where their name comes from. I currently have mine set up in a 3 square foot vivarium, which is what they need as juveniles. Anything under 10 inches does happy in 3 square feet of an enclosure. As they get bigger and towards adult size, anything over 10 inches, it is recommended to have at least 8 square feet. So I will be building her an enclosure about the size of Doom's when she gets ready for that. With spiny tail agamids being from the desert region of the world, they are sun lovers. They love high heat, and though UVB has not been determined if it's necessary for them, a lot of other lizards from this region of the world and that display the same type of diurnal or up during the day kind of behavior do rely on UVB for a source of vitamin D and calcium. Being from the desert, they require high heat, so I give her a basking spot of 120 degrees right there on that rock, and then it kind of dissipates throughout her cage as we go down. I do also provide her a UVB 10.0 bulb. This is pretty standard for most desert reptiles. I use one for Doom as well. I think with more research and more time with Uromastyx being in the pet trade, we will find a lot more things out in regards to UVB. So for now, I just provide it to her. There are many different substrates that you can use for Uromastyx lizards. I've chose to go with a more naturalistic setup that allows her to burrow and also replicates her naturalistic substrate in the wild. A lot of breeders like to use just millet seeds since seeds are a large part of Uromastyx diets anyways, and there's no risk of impaction that way. I think that's a good route to go, but like I said, I do prefer a more naturalistic look. In a Uromastyx cage, you want to provide it with many areas to hide and duck to get out of the sun. They will bask for large periods of the day, but do need multiple areas to hide. I provide mine with 4 different distinct hides, and she's already, within the couple days that she's been here, made a couple more herself. The 4 I started off with was 1 right here underneath of this rock in this crevice, 2 back there underneath that flower pot, the 3rd one here underneath of this flower pot, and the 4th one down here in this cork bark tube. She's modified the cage a little bit, like I said, made 2 more burrows of her own. One of them goes behind this rock and then squeezes herself in between the pot of this plant and this rock and kind of digs down into this area of the cage. The second one that she's made is just an extension off of what I had already had for her here, but it goes down into this cork bark tube, wraps around the backside, and then pops out right there in that dark opening. A few things that work well as hides for Uromastic lizards are cork flats, PVC tubes, as well as flower pots. Regardless what you use for your hides for your Uromastics, you want them to be very low to the ground. Uromastics feel the most comfortable when they're in their hide and their backs are touching the ceiling of the hide, with their stomachs touching the ground of it. Uromastics are largely herbivorous, eating mostly vegetation and seeds, so I do provide her with a large bowl that always has birdseed in it, and I do give her a varied diet of leafy greens, seeds, beans, and other vegetables. Some good vegetables that make great salads for your Uromastics, maybe bok choy or collard greens, maybe some shredded carrot with some squash and zucchini. They love green beans. Swiss chard, though it can be hard to find, is a great staple food for them. And of course, bird seeds are things that they like to eat regularly. Though Uromastics are mostly herbivorous in the wild, they will occasionally take insects as meals. You want to keep this to a minimum for Uromastics just because the protein levels that are in insects aren't suitable for a regular diet for a Uromastyx lizard. I do recommend vitamin and supplements for them, whether it be calcium with D3 or Herptovite, whatever vitamin and supplements that are meant for reptiles that you can get at your local pet store are highly advised. Uromastyx get most of their hydration from the food they eat. Being from the desert, there's not very many sources of standing water from them to drink from. So over time, the Uromastyx has adapted to get the water that it needs from its diet. Uromastyx also excrete salt out of their nostrils. This allows them to stay more hydrated. Not retaining much salt from their diets allows the water that is in their diet to have a greater impact. A Uromastic with a proper diet should not need a water bowl, so therefore I do not provide mine with one. Though there are exceptions, some Uromastics do like water more than others, the ones being at higher elevation with a higher humidity and maybe morning dew out in the wild will regularly drink out of a water bowl, or a female that has just laid her eggs may also drink heavily. If you find your Uromastics drinking, allow them to drink as much as they will. Uromastics are pretty calm in nature, and over time, with regular handling, they can become just as tame as bearded dragons, and this is what really drew me to this lizard. Now, with all that being said, I think Uromastics can make great beginner lizards. Of course, with any pet reptile, there are key basics that you want to make sure you have down first. So I still don't have a name for this cute little girl. If you guys have name suggestions, please leave them in the comment section down below, and I'll pick the best one in a couple days or so. And that's today's video. I finally got one of the dream reptiles that I've been looking forward to keeping ever since I first found out that reptiles were even able to be kept as pets. If you guys liked today's video, give me a like down below, because you know I need those kind of things. And as always, stay tuned for Tuesday's video. Thank you.